Warning: the content ahead may be frightening or distressing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. I remember the hum of my tires on the asphalt and nothing else. No music, no thoughts, just the road stretching ahead into a desert that shouldn't have been there. I'd driven this route for years. There were gas stations, houses, towns, but that night, everything was flattened into endless sand and a horizon that looked too tall, like the world had grown new shapes while I wasn't watching. The sky felt swollen. The stars sat lower, dimmer, like they were being held in place by an invisible ceiling. And there, on that impossible horizon, I saw them. Not moving, not watching, just existing. Shapes taller than thunderheads, limbs like distant mountain ranges, bodies bent in geometries that made my eyes tear involuntarily. I should have turned back. But something in me whispered, "You're too small for them to notice." I clung to that idea until the moment it stopped being true. I didn't see the creature move. I only saw the result. A shift in the skyline, a subtle dip, like a continent-sized head tilting downward just a fraction, as if testing a new angle, as if adjusting its focus. On me. I didn't hear a sound, but silence itself felt ruptured. The world went thinner. The air went tight. My pulse sped so fast it became a whine inside my throat, and in the space between two heartbeats, I understood something. I had been acknowledged, not seen, not studied, not targeted, just registered, like noticing a speck of dust drifting in a sunbeam. Insignificant, but briefly real. That single moment lasted less than a second. I haven't recovered since. When the creature straightened again, returning its attention to whatever unimaginable plane it inhabited, the damage was already done. I kept driving, but the world felt wrong, flattened, hollow. Something in me had cracked open. Not fear, not trauma. Scale. I had understood scale at a level a human brain is not engineered for. I realized my life wasn't small, it was microscopic, and something vast had, only once, bothered to shift its awareness in my direction. Once I realized that, something changed inside me, permanently. At first, it was little things. I'd look at buildings, and their size felt arbitrary, laughable even. My house, the supermarket, the city skyline. Every structure felt like a child's toy, a plastic model sitting on a table too large to comprehend. Then came the visual distortions. Objects felt wrong, distorted. Like the angles didn't line up anymore, like everything was tilted slightly toward something enormous just beyond the border of my vision. People looked small, fragile, like soft shapes that would collapse under the slightest pressure. I couldn't look anyone in the eyes. The scale mismatch was nauseating, but the worst part, the part that ruined me, was the spatial vertigo. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the creature's silhouette towering over the horizon, immobile, eternal, indifferent, and every time I opened them, I felt displaced, like my brain kept trying to reconcile the truth. If something that large exists, then everything else is wrong. Doctors said I developed spatial derealization, perceptual disintegration, visual agnosia, auditory distortion, episodic memory fragmentation, but none of their diagnoses capture the real issue. My brain is trying to expand to understand something it cannot contain. It's tearing itself apart, trying. Sometimes, late at night, I feel a pressure at the back of my skull, like a thumb gently pressing into clay. Not painful, just heavy, aware. Like some tiny remnant of that thing's attention never fully returned to wherever it came from. Like a man casually glancing at an anthill and remembering hours later that he might have stepped near something living. Not important, just lingering. Insignificant, yet still present. Here is the part that stays with me. The part you will probably think about later. The creature didn't choose to acknowledge me. It didn't lean down with intention. It didn't look at me. It simply adjusted, and I happened to fall within the radius of its awareness. Meaning, there was no reason behind it, no purpose, no symbolism, no destiny, no cosmic selection. I was just there. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong scale. But that's not the part that eats at me. This is, if a being that large can notice me by accident, what happens when it notices me on purpose? Because sometimes, when the world goes quiet, I feel that pressure behind my eyes, like something vast is testing the edges of its memory, wondering where it left off, and remembering me. That's why I don't sleep anymore. Not because I'm afraid it will come back, but because I'm afraid it hasn't left.